And next joining me is Leonard Singer, well, back in Ramsey. And I think really you did say you came out initially because you thought there was going to be a contest, and suddenly there was a massive amount of people coming out.
That's true, because I've always opposed the idea of the marina on the beach, but I didn't say anything. Didn't have any official position or anything. But then when it re-emerged 2 or 3 months ago, neither of the MHKs were coming out against it. So
I think they were leaving the options open, I think would be the probably, wasn't it? It wasn't quite for it or against it. Now they're against it, aren't they?
Well, neither of them actually stood up and said they oppose it. Yeah. And I really felt that somebody had to do that, and that's why I put my name forward. I didn't think I would do this again.
I got to see. I mean, let's look back on this. You did it over the courthouse and the post office, wasn't it? At one stage, you would sort of you picked one particular thing. I think.
Well, but this really, I'm really aggravated by this proposal. I've been in Ramsey now for 32 years, and that beach was where I took my children to play. And when you look at it over the last few weeks, the amount of people on the beach, children bathing in the sea, people on kayaks, people walking, that is a public beach, and it's been a public beach for generations. And for suddenly somebody to come and say, we want your beach, yeah. I'm totally against that. And actually this need not have happened, because when there was a meeting 2 years ago to present this proposal, neither of our MHKs stood up and said, no, we don't want it. I mean, and I perfectly respect his view. Dr. Allinson, he introduced a meeting. Afterwards he said, I hope it gets built. There was a letter he sent to somebody who was questioning him. He said, I support the principle of it. And Laurie, I think, was quoted, I think he quoted to you, saying that he won't make his mind up until on which side he comes down, okay. Yes or no, until he sees the plans.
Okay, let's
But I am saying, don't care about feasibility studies. I don't care about it complying or not complying with conditions. It's a public beach. And if I, sorry,
no, that's all right. I don't get stuck on the one subject.
Okay. And I will take it to Tin. If I get in and elected, yeah. I will take a motion to Tynwald to protect that beach for the public.
Well, now it seems all the other candidates are almost saying the same thing. So, what else are you going to be standing on? Or, I mean, the one-trick pony thing comes to mind.
No, it's not.
Let me explain yourself. What else are you on?
Well, the main thing is the economy.
Right.
I believe that the economy, without increasing your tax receipts, there's going to be no money for anything. No for health or for infrastructure, and that's why in my election address I've not put I want this, I want that, I want the other, because unless you get your increasing your tax receipts, you won't get anything.
Do you want more economically active people to move here then? I mean, obviously that puts pressure on housing and all the issues that go with it, or how do you see the future?
Of course. First of all, I believe we've been losing business here. I believe the government's been blind to people moving from the island, because if somebody moves from the island and they've got to make a good job, but the company moves, they just get up quietly and go. Their names never go onto the unemployment list. So the government shows the unemployment list. Oh, we've got very low unemployment. That is not the truth. We've lost jobs, and we have to get these people back.
And your ideas?
Well, I think the problem has been that we did at the top, particularly in the Department of Enterprise, we don't have people. The people who are supposed to be bringing work in, they've never actually been out there in the real world and had to fight to bring business to the island. So I think they've become basically risk averse, and people who've come here, and I know this to be a fact, have had obstructions put in the way, and they throw their hands up in the air and they say, I can't deal with this, and they've gone off to Guernsey, or they've gone off to Wales. In Guernsey they've got a very proactive chief minister and who says, how can I help you? That isn't happening on the island. And it's the same with the FSA. People, I know one of our MHKs was approached by a Swiss bank, established in Switzerland, established in London, and there have been problems, and they're going to walk away.
You can think you can change this? The mindset, the silos, the whole thing. And you've been in government already how many times now? You know how it works.
I've done and that's why. And it's interesting watching it from the outside over the last 5 years. And I know we've had the problems with COVID, and that's put extra pressure on spending. But I say that's why even more the reason why we should be really having the right people in the right places, people who can give confidence to the prospective investors to say, we understand what you want, how can we help you? As I say, because, and the other thing we've got to do is to look into the each individual department to look at what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, because until we get the money in, we can't have wish lists.
So where would you, this time round, if you got in, as I said, you have already been in, what, 2 terms? And
I did 12 years in the
12
Keys.
Years, yeah. So where would you fit this time? Because you know it all already, you know how it all operates. Well, so you'd obviously want to be a minister, right?
No, not necessarily. No? Okay. I think I was never made a minister because I stood on too many toes. Well,
that was there. This is a clear, new deck and all that.
No, first of all, we've got to see who the chief minister is. And that won't be till after the election. Yeah. And of course, I've got to have to be elected first. There are jobs that I've enjoyed doing.
But are you a man to work with inside the government, or would you be backbenchering and giving your views on things, or would you want to take part in this?
I say it all depends. First of all, who's the chief minister and whether I agree with their policies. But no, I'm happy. I've been backbenching, but I have had very important. I've had important jobs to do within.
So where would you like to go?
I'm loath to say this.
Why?
But I was twice in Department of Infrastructure.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I was twice in, and I believe I really got things done there when I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something.
But I hope that future chief minister isn't listening to what I'm saying.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask at the very end, because we're building up to it. But okay, let's supposing you look at what's been happening with DOI and all this sort of thing. You would have views on that, wouldn't you? What's gone on with the promenade in Liverpool? Just to name, obviously, the 2 biggies.
You've got to ask who did the negotiations, how much knowledge did they have? Because let's take Liverpool for example. It started off at, I can remember it started off I think 7 million, went to 18, went to 38, now it's gone to 52, and from what I hear it's likely to go to 62.
But what would you do? What would you do if you were in government? Would you pull the plug on this? Would you have just been more screwed in the first place? Just trying to, I don't get bogged down on all these one things again.
Yeah,
but
well, I don't know what negotiations went on and why it got to this point. What I do know is that, which is important, that at the moment all they've done there is prepare the site. I think if we sold that site again, it'd be worth £5 or £6 million. We've already given them more than 20, so it's a lose-lose situation. I mean, I think probably because of the timing, votes, etc., and the ease to get to Heysham. Heysham might be the better option. I know people like to go to Liverpool.
Okay, let's look. I mean, again, any other local issues? But I mean, or national issues you want to bring up at this point?
There's local issues. I mean, if you look at Ramsey, the infrastructure is very, very poor. The roads and the pavements. We've had no government incentives to bring businesses to Ramsey. And business will only come to the north if they get the stimulus from government to go there, because they'll stay in Douglas or go south. We've got lack of housing, first-time buyers housing. That's a completely other subject of which I've got ideas. So for Ramsey, we've really got to. And the other thing that's very important: 1 in 4 houses that I call on, the people talk about the access to the doctors. They find it, and that's got to change as well.
Okay, climate change. You were just a more steady approach, I think, was your wording on it.
It is
very quickly though. We're running out of time. But
measured approach.
What's that mean? Just quickly.
Measured approach means that with government, we actually do things that we're going to protect our island, things for Ireland. We can all take our part. We as an island cannot save the world, but the things we have to do, like, shall we say, proper insulation for our houses, planting trees, looking after our very important marine reserves, etc., using public transport, etc. We can do that. But the government, the main thing I see for the government is to protect our shores against the rising seas.
Okay, and we're back to where we started. Just to finish with, though, the big build-up.
Go
on.
Can I give one PS?
PS.
PS.
Yes.
There was I referred to I don't think I referred to the letter from the developers of the
Marina. Yeah.
And they say they've got support from MHKs, etc. At the end, this is very important. I think it will please the people against it, where they say, at the end of the letter, they say, let us make this one final push and get the marina over the line. If we don't succeed now, I, for one, will have had enough after nearly 4 years. That's the best news. Vote for me and we'll get rid of it altogether.
And can I get who you want for the Chief Minister to finish with? The big build-up. Very quickly, we're over time. Quickly. Name or not name? No name?
I know who I don't want.
Oh, do you want to say that? No. Okay, so that's it. Not for the minute.